Deep within the gnarled heart of the Blackwood, Princess Petunia sat upon the moss-slicked lip of a crumbling stone well. The golden ball of destiny felt unnaturally heavy, 3 pounds of cursed narrative weight pressing into her palm. She watched the twisted trees lean in, their skeletal branches whispering of ancient scripts and preordained endings. Boredom had become a jagged blade in her chest. She stared into the dark water, waiting for the glitch. When the ball finally moved, it didn't fall. It jerked sideways in a sharp, impossible vector, vanishing into the abyss with a wet, metallic thud. The water didn't ripple. It vibrated with a low-frequency hum that rattled the princess's teeth. From the ink-black depths, a neon green light pulsed, cutting through the eerie forest shadows like a jagged neon blade. A creature emerged, crusting the surface with the mechanical grace of a faulty machine. It looked like a frog, but its skin flickered with the scan lines of a dying holographic projector. A puff of lavender-scented exhaust vented from its neck as it spoke in a series of digital croaks. This was no enchanted prince. This was a signal from the stars, wrapped in swamp-drenched skin. Ambassador Zog-Blat's form shivered, his green slime melting into a pulsating, translucent blue mass that resembled a sentient liquid beanbag. A cluster of lidless golden eyes sprouted from his center, blinking in rhythmic alien synchronization. He explained the linguistic virus that had trapped him in this primitive avatar, his voice vibrating through the very air. He required a biometric saliva sample to finalize a non-aggression pact, a smooch in the local primitive tongue. Petunia didn't recoil in horror. She reached out with steady hands, preferring the terrifying unknown of the cosmos to the stifling, predictable walls of her father's crumbling castle. Petunia planted a dry, clinical kiss on the ambassador's largest ocular sensor. There was no magical chime or shower of glitter. Instead, the sound of a jet engine being fed through a wood chipper tore through the forest. The ancient well imploded, pulling the horizon line inward like a collapsing lung. Gravity became a suggestion rather than a law. The princess felt the reality of her world shatter, the grim-inspired woods dissolving into streaks of light and data. She wasn't afraid. She was exhilarated. The protocol had been initiated, and the boring fairy tale of her life was finally being overwritten by something grander. The Great Hall was no longer a place of stone and tapestries. It had become a chaotic intersection of dimensions. 74 three-headed bureaucrats in shimmering high-tech robes occupied the long tables, debating mining rights over cold pheasant. The king bellowed for his guards, but they were lost in a cloud of sentient neon gas that hummed with administrative efficiency. A floating toaster-like droid from the Andromeda galaxy began reciting harsh poetry to a suit of armor, while the hearth fire burned with a strange violet photon glow. The fairy tale had ruptured, replaced by the beautiful, messy complexity of a pan-galactic trade war. Petunia stood amidst the bureaucratic hurricane, a localized surge of cosmic radiation having gifted her a third arm. She used it to balance a plate of appetizers while watching her father inadvertently sign away the moon's mineral rights. Her elegant gown was now dusted with stardust and alien soot, her jaded expression replaced by a sharp, calculating smile. She had traded a happily ever after for a seat at the diplomatic table. As the palace guards fired crossbows at holograms, Petunia realized she finally owned her own story. It wasn't a romance. It was a revolution, and the stars were finally listening.